Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Dalhousie University's Spring Convocation. My name is Wanda Costin, and I serve as the Provost and Vice President Academic here at Dalhousie University. Please be seated. I invite John R. Sillaboy to deliver the Mi'kmaq welcome.
Dawalotio, Giluknago and Minuk. Jilida Mi'kmaqi, Archibuktuk, Ardet Dalhousie University. Wilagiskuk, Wildaswal no, Neen, Amamigo Iminen. Where I access Sonia, Wego Gibit. Wildaswal no, Imsid normal. Mi'kmaqi Naunuegadi, Ayab to delide the Mugmamigo Iminuk. Ginug Laun Nug, Squijinug, Edligalam Sidasig na Gigmanana ma Waisisk, Jujisk, Sisip, Mimeesk, Imsit Storunk, Samguan, Maramigo, Jusen. Det Misorski de Mujuegadi, na Mi'kmaqi. Mushvagelo de Mug, Megide de Mug. So let's welcome all our spirits. Our ancestral land is the land of Mi'kmaq, that we have always known to exist. We Mi'kmaq believe that all our relations include all species, animals, insects, birds, fish, all trees, waters, and winds from here on earth to the spirit world. We have to take care of it and cherish it, which is why we say all our relations, or imsid normal, wilalieg.
Thank you, John R. Dalhousie University is located in Mi'kmaqi, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Inuk. We are all treaty people. There are three key components to this statement. The first is acknowledgement the land Dalhousie sits on is part of Mi'kmaqi, the territory of the Inuk. The second is the acknowledgement of the territory as both ancestral and unceded, recognizing that the peace and friendship treaties signed between the British Crown and the Mi'kmaq did not involve surrender of land. We are all treaty people reminds us that these treaties apply to all of us, indigenous and settler alike. Here at Dalhousie, we continue to work and build on these critically important relationships and friendships, and we remain committed to the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report. We also recognize African Nova Scotians as distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kmaqi known as Nova Scotia for more than 400 years. We are deeply grateful to our Indigenous and African Nova Scotian faculty, staff, students, administrators, and elders who help guide our efforts, from pathways programs and admissions to curriculum and community partnerships. While we recognize there is still much more to do, we remain committed to a future grounded in equity and inclusive excellence. Today is a day of celebrations. It is one of endings, but also of beginnings. Before we begin today, I would like to introduce our stage party. Please stand or wave when I call your name. Dr. Rustam Southwell, Chancellor. Dr. Kim Brooks, President and Vice Chancellor. John R. Sillaboy, Vice Provost, Indigenous Relations. Kathy O'Toole, Vice President, Finance and Administration. Matt Hebb, Vice President, Strategic Engagement. Dr. Sachin Seth, Chair of Senate. Dr. Mike Smith, Dean, Faculty of Management. Dr. Christiane Boulin, Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies. Elaine McInnes, Interim Dean, University Libraries. Dr. Rick Ezekiel, Vice Provost, Student Affairs. Dr. Leslie Fillmore, Associate Vice President, Academic. Dr. Jeff Myers, Acting University Registrar and Assistant Vice President, Enrollment. Nicole Mansell, recipient of the President's Award for Advancement of EDIA and University Beadle. We also have with us today, both on stage and in the audience, faculty and staff who have supported your graduates along their journey. Please acknowledge them as well. Please be seated. I'd like to take a moment for a bit of housekeeping. We have 2 aisles here. Those are our exit aisles. Please keep those free. And as you see on the back, there's 2 green placards at the top. We also have a quiet room upstairs on the 4th floor in room 412. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Kim Brooks, President and Vice Chancellor of Dalhousie University, to deliver opening remarks.
All right. Let's talk about Stephen Lewis. Stephen Lewis died earlier this year on March 31st at the age of 88, and Canada lost one of its great voices, a politician, diplomat, humanitarian, advocate, author, speaker, and relentless champion for human dignity. He was elected to the Ontario legislature at 26. He became the leader of the Ontario New Democratic Party. He served as Canada's ambassador to the United Nations. He worked with UNICEF. He became the UN Special Envoy for HIV/AIDS in Africa. He co-founded the Stephen Lewis Foundation, which continues to support community-led work on health, human rights, HIV/AIDS, and gender justice. He was, by any measure, one of the most compelling public figures Canada has produced. And as we gather here at a university convocation, here's perhaps a surprising thing. Stephen Lewis did not complete a university degree. He went to university. He debated, and he learned, and he read. He discovered the world, and then he left his studies and followed a path that took him into politics, international affairs, Africa, human rights, and public life. I want to be careful about the point. This is not the moment for the president of Dalhousie University to say degrees do not matter. Of course they do. This degree matters. Your work matters. The credential you receive today represents years of discipline, growth, persistence, and sacrifice. It represents late nights, difficult assignments, demanding conversations, deadlines, teamwork, frustration, breakthroughs, and the repeated decision to keep going. That matters. Graduates, friends, faculty, and families, good afternoon. Today we gather to celebrate the graduates from the Bachelor of Management, Master of Public Administration, Master of Information, Master of Business Administration, and related programs in Dalhousie's Faculty of Management. It's a wonderfully broad group. Among you are people who have studied organizations, governments, information systems, leadership, public service, business, data, archives, libraries, strategy, accountability, innovation, finance, people, and change. You've been trained in fields that do not always look alike from the outside, but they share something profound. They're all concerned with how human beings organize themselves to do consequential things together. You know about how we make decisions, use resources, build trust, preserve knowledge, serve communities, and how we move from dreams to implementation. Back to Stephen Lewis. Lewis reminds us that the degree is not the destination, it's preparation. A degree does not tell us everything a person will become, and the absence of a degree does not prevent Stephen Lewis from becoming one of the most educated people in public life, educated by books, travel, politics, listening, grief, injustice, responsibility, and by the relentless discipline of paying attention. I first heard Stephen Lewis speak when I was young, about 12 years old. My parents used to take us on Sunday adventures. This was a great family tradition. The term adventure was interpreted broadly. Maybe we'd go to the zoo, sometimes the science center. Maybe we'd go canoeing or to a farmer's market. Perhaps if the universe was generous, we'd go to Canada's Wonderland. On one Sunday, my parents put us in the car and said we were going on a long drive. Hopes were high. Would there be animals? Would there be rides? Would there be snacks? We drove and drove and drove. Eventually, we arrived at the University of Guelph. And there we watched Stephen Lewis give a speech. Now, as a child, I will admit this was not the adventure I had imagined. There was no funnel cake. There was a man at the podium in what I think in hindsight must have been the gymnasium at the University of Guelph. The chairs were not comfortable, sort of like the chairs on this convocation stage. Lewis began to speak, and it was electric. I remember the force of it. The room changed. If you have not heard Stephen Lewis speak, the man had command of language. He had moral urgency. He had humor and fury and tenderness. He could move from analysis to outrage to compassion without losing the thread. He made public life feel alive. And at some point, as I remember it, he removed his jacket partway through his remarks. And even that motion felt like part of the argument, as though the speech had become too urgent for ordinary clothing. On the way home, my father made us talk about what made him such a great speaker. Fathers, you know what I'm saying? Was it his sentence construction, his rhythm, his intelligence, his conviction, the way he held the room, the way he made you feel that the issue in front of him mattered, and that because it mattered, now you had some responsibility for it? I've thought about that Sunday many times, and even in hindsight, I think I would have preferred the zoo. But looking back, I know my parents gave us something extraordinary. They gave us the chance to see a person using every gift he had in service of something larger than himself. Years later, Canadians encountered that same force in another form when Stephen Lewis delivered the 2005 CBC Massey Lectures, published as Race Against Time, Searching for Hope in Age-Ravaged Africa. The Massey Lectures are one of this country's great public intellectual traditions, a place where ideas are meant to matter beyond the academy, beyond government, and beyond any single room. Lewis used the platform not to polish his reputation, but to bear witness. He spoke about HIV/AIDS in Africa, about international indifference, about systems that had failed people, and about the urgent obligation to act. What made those lectures so powerful was not only the information he carried and generously shared, it was the way he refused to separate analysis from humanity. He could speak about global institutions, financing policy, health systems, gender, poverty, and accountability, and still make the listener never forget the individual human life at the center of it all. Whether your work is in business, public administration, information, libraries, archives, museums, health systems, entrepreneurship, government, or community leadership, never let the system become so abstract that the people disappear inside it. Never let the dashboard replace the duty, or let the briefing note become more important than the lives it is meant to serve. Let me conclude with 3 more brief lessons from Stephen Lewis. First, use your gifts at full force. That is not always easy. Many people go through life using only part of what they have, part of their courage, part of their imagination, part of their intelligence, part of their capacity for care, part of their voice. But Stephen Lewis did not do that. He played full out, like a Bruce Springsteen concert at its best. Second, strive for excellence, not excellence as polish or status or perfection. I'm talking about excellence as seriousness of purpose. And third, carry urgency without losing joy. This matters. The world's problems are serious, but seriousness does not require despair. Stephen Lewis could be fierce about injustice and still alive to humor, rhythm, friendship, family, and the theater of human life. And now let me really conclude by saying something directly to the friends and families. You've watched these graduates become themselves. You knew them before Dalhousie knew them. You knew the child, teenager, young adult, the person packing for university, the person calling home, the person saying, "I'm fine," in a tone that perhaps suggested more information was available should you choose to execute cross-examination. You saw the effort behind this day. Today marks something real. These graduates have achieved something significant. They have completed a degree at Dalhousie University. They have earned this ceremony. They have crossed a threshold that will always be part of their story. So please feel proud today. Full force, proud. Proud of the credential, yes, but even more proud of the person. And graduates, I hope you let yourselves feel that pride too. Stephen Lewis's life reminds us that no ceremony, title, appointment, credential, office, or honor is the final measure of a life. The measure is what we do with what we have been given, whether we bring our full selves to the work of making the world more just, more humane, more intelligent, and more alive to possibility. Class of 2026, congratulations. May you use every gift you have at full force.
Thank you very much for that, President Brooks. Graduates, please rise. And if you're unable to, you can wave from your seat. Chancellor Southwell, as chair of the Senate of Dalhousie University, I ask you to confer degrees to those candidates whose names have been approved by Senate.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in Dalhousie University, I admit to their respective degrees and diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto, those candidates who have fulfilled the requirements of that degree and whose names have been approved by Senate. Admito vos ad gradum. Congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations, you may now be seated.
Graduates, this is the moment you've been waiting for. As you begin to line up and cross the stage, I invite you to think about the journey you've been on, but more importantly, what lies ahead and the fun you're going to have at it. As you cross the stage today, you'll be greeted by the Chancellor. Please stop, and he will share some thoughts with you. And then you'll come to this side, and you'll receive your alumni pin from your dean. This is also where you'll have your formal photograph taken. At this time, I call upon Dr. Mike Smith, Dean, Faculty of Management, Dr. Christian Boulin, Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies, and Ella McDonald, an orator and alum from the Fountain School of Performing Arts, to present the candidates who are here today receiving their degrees.
Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidates on behalf of the Faculty of Management who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Management. Nadine Abu Shahla, with distinction. Brian Andrew Arnold Scovell. Sophie Alexandra Boyd Bano, with distinction. Brooke Patricia Bauer, with distinction. Toby Douglas Bauer. Matthew Allen Cedarberg. Megan Nicole Shessa, with distinction. Kate Coyle Asbill, with distinction. Thomas Andrew Phipps Dixon. Aiden Duncan. Sebastian Giancarlo. Michaela Dawn Harnish. Lydell Husbands Brown. Ainsley Poppy Jewel Ireland. Adam Joseph Jackman. Mosa Dolua Johnson. Pranav Kapoor. Harpreet Kaur. Catherine Jetlib, with distinction. Cynthia Blair Kerbler. Sahar Kaurpur. Matthew Charles Marshall King. Sophia Jameson Cole, with distinction. Michelle Denise LeBlanc. Jinlin Liu. Rosemary Margaret McMillan, with distinction. Kendra Marie Mullicky, with distinction. Brooklyn Kathleen Eliza Malone, with distinction. Seth Mateo Malpas, with distinction. Minkum Rafik Manasia. Amelie Mara Blythe McLean, with distinction. Francis Michael McMahon, with distinction. Aisha Mohammed. Zoe Marie Moniz. Sophia Grace Monteith, with distinction. Stephen William Muir. Lee Robert Neff. Jory James Parsons. Mark Rostek. Jack Saddington. Sierra Regan Scott. Manav Samaria Tucker. Piper Jane Smith. Lady Shayna Linzo Villiano. Talbot Bruce Waite. Ava Margaret Welsh, with distinction. Sean Andrew Wilson. Erica Bailey Warden. Autumn Faith Zlepnig. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Bachelor of Management. Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidates on behalf of the Faculty of Graduate Studies who have fulfilled the requirements for the Graduate Diploma in Public Administration. Syed Mohammed Aman Kazmi. Shalene Sparks. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Graduate Diploma in Public Administration. Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Business Administration. Matthew Robertson Aftanis. Megan Elizabeth Allen. Temitope Ibironke Ayatan. Madeline Marie Beliveau. Melanie Elizabeth Bryan. Michael Majupian. Allison Sarah Cook. Sarah Marie Cuttrow. John Kunda Chuma. Alex James Dollamount. Zoe Dorenspleet. Zachary Easer. Lena Fine. Joshua Donald Farmer. Marlena Gallivan. Fakhruddin Ahmed Gumay. Justin John Leon Green. Sydney Paige Gookerwicki. Christina Marie Hanna. Aleem Hirji. Glenn Charles Holmes. Leah Elizabeth Langell. Kate Penny Lavers. Megan Esma Rose LeBlanc. Loren Liam. Lachlan Joseph McPhee. Sean Andrew McKinnon Murray. Ernestine Paraiso. Meet Kitan Patel. Jack Christopher Newcomb Poirier. Milan Radonovich. Marley Donna Raycroft. Amelia Suzanne Reed. Caroline Dale Simpson. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Business Administration. Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Information. Alana Baroni. Taylor Kathleen Dale Brown. Tegan Lindsay Chong. Holly Elizabeth Ann Crummy. Randy Michelle Cummings. Rebecca Edith Estabrooks. Helen Elizabeth Hillis. Sarah Ashley Johnson. Aelith Erna Mary Juby. Veronica Rose Kerrigan. Stephen Frank McMillan. Abby Decker McClung. Rebecca Dawn Nicole. Kaylee Nicole Dawn Reed. Melissa Riggs. Emily Jane Ratanja. Amelia Jane Runchie. Ellen Rochelle Sawatsky. Zia Marion Muir Shirtliff. Riley Bruce Stevenson. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Information. Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidate, who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Information Management. Jia-Jian Liu. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Information Management. Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Public Administration. Chintashig Boldsuk. Liam Thomas Buchanan. Krista Rachel Robin Cumming. Yawen Feng. Hannah Louise Forsyth. Pamela Hayhurst. Elizabeth Eru Rhymes. William Alastair Hibbets. Emma Kaylee King. Hepzibah Lockenpal. Jason Laidman. Chris Lane. Marianne Lawson, joined on stage by Brian. Xiang Li. Elizabeth Sumay McDonnell. Faika Mahboob. Salman Munir. Andre Preclaro. Melanie Prevo. Joshua Victor Russell. Dorothy Afi Nyonyo Lawson. Paul James Swanberg. Jinlin Tan. Nicholas Andrew Troop. Sijua Wang. Eva Rose Widmeyer. Valerie Suzanne Wilson. Jiao Yu. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Public Administration. Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Science in Business. Adebimpe Adejoke Ayani. Poria Karami. Nakisa Khorham. Michaela O'Regan. Daniel Otu. Sarah Sharifi. Zareen Tasneem. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Science in Business.
Chancellor Southwell, the degree of Doctor of Philosophy is the highest earned degree awarded by the university. It represents the culmination of extensive scholarly research and a candidate's outstanding academic achievement. The following candidates who, through successful completion of their thesis and examination, have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The awarding of the PhD degree marks the completion of a significant collaboration between the candidates and their thesis supervisors. We are also pleased to recognize the contribution of these supervisors. If present, we invite them to stand and join in presenting the alumni pin folder to the graduate following the hooding. Following the awarding of their degree, our newest PhD graduates are invited to join faculty on stage.
Allison Elaine Brown, Doctor of Philosophy in Interdisciplinary Studies, supervised by Vivian Howard and Sandra Toes. Daniel Martinez Calderon, Doctor of Philosophy in Interdisciplinary Studies, supervised by Bertram McDonald and Patricia Manuel. Poppy Nicolette Riddle, Doctor of Philosophy in Information, supervised by Philippe Mongion. Chancellor Southwell, This concludes the presentation of candidates who are here today to receive the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Please join me in congratulating all of our graduates. We would also like to take a moment to celebrate you, the family and friends who have supported the graduates on their journey. Thank you. Graduates, today you are led into this ceremony and will be led out by our beadle, carrying the new dawn staff of place and belonging. This staff is more than a ceremonial symbol. It embodies Dalhousie's diverse and inclusive community. Crafted with materials, textures, and symbols reflecting the richness and diversity of individuals like you, graduates who have shaped our university and who now number over 165,000 alumni. Graduates and guests, the formal business of convocation has concluded. We invite you to remain seated so the stage party can exit. Congratulations.
macho rabon marutine hey abon marutine